Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to our stage here in the Spain Pavilion, where we're going to continue with our program for today. The rest of the program of the day is reserved for company presentations. As you know, the Spain Pavilion is formed by a variety of Spanish tech companies, and we're giving them this space also so that they have an opportunity to come up here and give us a small presentation related to their business. The next company presenting for us is Igalia. You can find them in booth number 33 within the Spain Pavilion. And here to talk to us about how Igalia is driving innovation with open source technologies, please welcome Lorenzo Tilbe, Chromium Team Coordination. Lorenzo?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Okay, so welcome. My goal here is to explain a bit what Igalia has been doing over the last few years oriented to open source technologies and our profile as a company, the areas where we have been contributing, and how we succeed on innovation. So my name is Lorenzo Tilbe. I'm working on coordination of the Chromium team at Igalia. I have been at Igalia for over 20 years. Igalia was founded in 2001 and it has over 140 engineers nowadays, having the headquarters and the main office in Coruña, Spain. So we have customers coming from multiple sectors and industries. And since the beginning of the company, the whole scope of the engineers working on it has been distributed, fully remote. We have people already working on more than 30 countries nowadays. Due to our involvement in multiple open source communities and being like a reference open source consultant, we have been for over 15 years as the main, I would say, actor in multiple ecosystems, especially in the area of open source web browsers and engines. During this story of Igalia, we managed to become like an active leader in also standards organizations related to web engines due to our participation both in implementation and spec definition on those technologies related to W3C, where we are a part of multiple working groups and chairing some of the boards. We are members of TC39, working on the definition of specs for JavaScript language. And also on the implementation side, we have been actually taking a lead role on the contributions to the WebKit, specifically to WebKit and Chromium projects, where we have been like the main contributors to those projects after Google and Apple, respectively, and Microsoft over the last few years. We have been also working on other projects as Firefox and Servo, which is like a new web engine written in Rust, taking the initial work done by Mozilla in the past. Which means that overall we have like a very strong position in these communities, but also this allowed us to grow like very strong teams on other parts of the stack that requires and are involved here as compilers, graphics, multimedia and kernel, among others. So just to give a few examples, in the case of WebKit, again, we have been like for many years one of the key contributors to the project. This means that aside from the work that Apple has been doing on maintaining the project, we have been developing new features in collaboration with some technical partners that have been willing to involve on the evolution of this web engine. We have been also actually working on the implementation of a new port, which was called WPE, or WebKit 4 for embedded devices, which we have been collaborating with some clients to get it embedded in. Nowadays it's used on millions of set-top boxes, home appliance machines, or many other hardware platforms. So part of the work we do with these web engines is enabling them for work on specific hardware that some clients have needs on. This is related to our position within the community. So aside from the commits from Apple in this project, Igalia has been like the leader on the rest of the companies that have been contributing to the project overall worldwide over the last few years. So this means that any company that has some specific need or wills to improve some things have been able to do that in collaboration with Igalia. Also, we have like a very strong technical team oriented around Chromium. Again, we have been working on this project since the project started as a fork of WebKit into Blink, which means that we have, again, working on multiple adaptations of this web engine for the scenarios that many of our customers have, oriented to the implementing of new functionalities to be landed upstream, creating new, implementing new CSS specs, working on performance improvements, working on hardware adaptations, even working on some solutions that are specific to client needs, where they need some modifications to a piece of software as complex as a web engine, and where Igalia has helped them to modify, to integrate with some custom services. Part of that could be upstream to the public project, so it's easier to maintain, but also to some specific needs that some clients had around these technologies. Also, another examples of this collaboration is that we have been enabling Chromium Embedded Framework, which is usually called CEF. We have run time for collaboration with the automotive industry sector, where we have been collaborating also for a long time. We have been actually the company that developed support for the upstream Wayland capabilities into the web engine. So this means that probably like every desktop that people has here and is using Chromium is using code developed by Igalia, aside from functionalities on the phones from everyone else using Chromium or WebKit-based browsers in their devices. We have been working on performance improvements for Chrome OS and many other areas. Again, besides Google, who is the main contributor to the project, of course, the case of Igalia has been like the main contributor, also aside with Microsoft in the project for the last few years. As part of the collaboration we have, it's not only implementation work, but also we have a team devoted to working on the spec side, which means to enable new features on the web engine, it's necessary also to work on the specification of that. This means that we have been able to work on cross-browser features that are implemented through all the major web engines in the scope. As mentioned, we are the maintainers of Wolvik, which is a web engine, a browser developed for WebXR support. And we are also the maintainers of Servo, as well as many other things we do related to cross-platform integration or web platform tests. We also have other teams due to this collaboration that allow us to work on other low-level parts of the stack. So we have teams devoted to compilers, both for V8, JavaScript compiler for WebKit, SpiderMonkey, many of them, and are working on the different areas of the compilers work technologies. We also have a devoted team to graphics. Sometimes when you have to work on a solution, the web engine is doing what is correct, but you need better performance at the graphics level. So we have been also the developers of open source Mesa GPU drivers. We have also been collaborating with Valve in the development of Vulkan drivers for the devices. So yeah, we also have a very interesting team working there on the Steam Deck, and even down to the kernel, which means that part of the work needs to go on the distribution part. On working, we have teams that needs to work on the kernel patches directly to have on both debugging, both on working on hardware bring up, virtualization, and other things that need to go as down as the kernel. As we mentioned in the W3C, we have been actually leading the many working groups on accessibility. Especially, we have a very strong role there. On MathML, we have been the maintainers of that area. So again, multiple areas where we need to work, not only in the implementation, but on the definition what the browser will do. We have teams working on that. Again, we have many references about Igalia in the media. And we are very public about the way we are. We are also structured as we have a company model where the workers have the capacity to own the company. So we have a very flat structure, which allows us to also keep the talent, to get people involved in the projects and succeed till the moment. And the way we normally work is with mid or long-term collaborations in which we combine consulting for the needs the clients have with both also development. We have the capacity to work through all these parts of the stack, and we in some cases become actually an extension of the development team from the clients we work with. So yeah, for any further information, you can reach us online. We will be here also during the rest of the event on booth 33. And yeah, so it's a pleasure. Thanks.